Yo, 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 what's up? What's going on? What's good? That's right. It's a boxing source checking in, and it is the Midweek Report. And this is August 10th, 2022. And we got a few things here that we're going to be talking about as far as like the boxing landscape is concerned. So we're going to be going through that. And we may have, a few guests here chiming in on, what's going on within the boxing world here, just trying to see about sending out invites or whatnot so that we could have people chiming in on the conversation. You know what I mean? So we had some, news and notes to talk about, and also we want to see if we could jump in on a few things as far as like other news that we wanted to get into. But one thing I do want to drop in is that on this YouTube channel, we're going to have a couple of interviews that will be posted on here. I was, thankful to have Dwight Flemings Jr. on, and also we will also have posted on here an interview with Willie Monroe Jr. So we're going to have those two interviews that will be on here. Peace to brother to Ishi B Devo here on the live conversation here. So big ups to you for joining us here on the live conversation. But like I said, we're going to have interviews with Dwight Flemings Jr. and Willie Monroe Jr. that will be posted on the Boxing Source YouTube page. And of course, we have our weekly podcast, usually scheduled for Sunday nights. Sometimes they're on Monday nights, but they will be available, here on the YouTube channel, or they are on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and yes, like I was saying, they're on Amazon Music. So if you have Amazon Prime, you listen to Amazon Music, you go into the podcast, you'll have the Boxing Source on there for the podcast. But what we want to do is we want to just, go through a few things as far as like news and notes are concerned when it comes to boxing. And, one of the bigger stories that did come down today was that a report came that there will be the return of the former WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder. He will be, scheduled to get in the ring in October. October will be mid-October over in the Barclays Center. And it will be reported against Robert Helenius. And for those that have listened to the podcast of a Boxing Source radio show, we usually have a guest on here that is, a very huge fan of Deontay Wilder. Was the at one time he was the president of the Deontay Wilder fan club, and then eventually he lost the presidency. It was a very tough time for him, but through one act of fandom, so to speak, he was able to earn the office of the presidency back, and that's MVO. So hopefully MVO will be able to join us here to talk to us a little bit more about Deontay Wilder returning. But like I said, Deontay Wilder, Robert Helenius, Barclays Center, pretty much a venue that Deontay Wilder has had a couple of fights there. Of course, he had his fight against Archer Spilka there. He's had his first fight against Luis Ortiz there. And for a number of fans, they were hoping that he would be able to return to the ring, even though he had his last fight against Tyson Fury, where he was eventually stopped and knocked out. But a lot of fans really wanted to see if he would be able to get back in the ring. And with the announcement that came down, that kind of had a number of fans pretty excited there in reference to him returning. So October 15th is a planned date. Barclays Center would be the venue. It would be headlined on a Fox Sports pay-per-view telecast there on October 15th. That's what it's looking like. Once, I guess a formal announcement will come down as far as like Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius on October 15th. And that kind of has it to be the second pay-per-view telecast for Fox on the default schedule. Of course, you have on Labor Day weekend, Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Luis Ortiz there. And, they pretty much kind of set up their whole fight card there. They're going to have, that headlining of pay-per-view. They're going to have one fight that is going to be featured that on the Fox network and also on Fox Sports 1. So you have Julius Spencer versus Kevin Salgado, and also Rais Salim they'll be going up against Mike Plania. So those are going to be the two bouts that are headlining what's going on Fox Sports 1 and also on Fox. So, with the Spencer versus Salgado, that's going to be headlining PBC on Fox. And the Rais Salim versus Mike Plania is going to be headlining what's going to be on Fox Sports 1 there on September 4th, Sunday, September 4th. Like I said, Labor Day Sunday, right? So you do have that. But going back to the whole thing with Deontay Wilder and Robert Helenius, so there are some that know that Robert Helenius was one of the leading sparring partners for Deontay Wilder. When he was preparing for his third fight against Tyson Fury. And I think that was something where, he kind of was in the process of preparing for or going up against a taller opponent, a bigger and taller opponent. So he needed some guys that kind of fit either that, height type or whatever it is, height type of build. So Deontay Wilder was, there working out with Robert Helenius for a significant amount of time for that particular bout that he had against Tyson Fury last year. But, for me, I just felt like, when they talked about Deontay Wilder potentially coming back, they were talking about potential opponents. And, there were guys like, maybe like a Frank Sanchez, maybe, way before that they made the fight, maybe it could have been against Adam Kownacki or something like that. But, for me, I just felt like it was going to be Robert Helenius, someone, even with him being a former sparring partner or something like that. It was somebody that was big, tall, somebody that could, that could pack a punch, so to speak, but also could be open to a big punch himself, And as I kind of brought it up in the latest episode of the Boxer Source radio show, I said that it was going to be a matchup of two big guys there in the heavyweight division. And with Robert Helenius having his 2 wins over Adam Kownacki the way that he did, he kind of took the momentum of Adam Kownacki, with the first stoppage win that happened in March of 2020, and then followed that up with the rematch and was able to, pretty much beat down Adam Kownacki in the rematch and have a fairly high status in one of the rankings, the WBA heavyweight rankings, And so with Deontay Wilder, I know that he has a high status in the WBC, but, facing someone like Robert Helenius would also get him in there in the WBA rankings, especially if he, gets to win over Robert Helenius. He would kind of be highly rated in the WBA. So that kind of would, drum up a number of interests there in the heavyweight division. He, of course, he's the highest profile heavyweight in the U.S. And, it would kind of generate enough interest for people to go and watch, so to speak. So I'm kind of like waiting on that to see if that would be the case here for Deontay Wilder. But now I would like to bring in a special person that would talk about this particular topic. Like I said before, this man was at one point the unquestionable president of Deontay Wilder fan club. But then at one point, he got into a little bit of a situation and made a bet with myself. And unfortunately for him, he ended up losing the office of the presidency. But with him doing what he said he was going to do, he left New York City. And he never left New York City in his life. But he did it one time just for him to see the Deontay Wilder statue. And for him to make that trip, he was able to be reinstated as the president of the Deontay Wilder fan club. That's right. It's Mr. Matt, Mr. MVO in the building. What's going on?
Bomb Squad! We are back, baby! Woo! Oh, man. He's coming. The Slim Reaper, the Alabama Slammer, the Bronze Bomber, the greatest American heavyweight of all time. Yes, I'm even including Muhammad Ali. I'm talking about the great Deontay LaShawn Wilder. How you doing today, JR?
You know what? It would have been better if your avatar was a picture of you with your arm around Deontay. Oh man!
I had to cut Michael Hunter out the picture because he a hater. See, he think he's slick. I saw him talking spicy about Wilder, but then it's all love when they meet up. It's all good.
Oh man! Oh jeez. Yeah, man. It's the return of the Bronze Bomber.
Oh,
Deontay Wilder, man.
Don't boxing feel more exciting again now? Oh man. Honestly, I haven't been watching boxing.
I know you haven't.
I haven't been watching boxing. I haven't been doing no shows. I haven't been doing anything boxing related. Even when I was supposed to go see my guy Kornacki, I fell asleep. It just wasn't the same. But now, the real is back. The real is back. Let's go.
I still can't believe that, man. I was up there at the Barclays for Diddy Garcia, Jose Benavidez event, and I hit you up. I said, yo, Kornacki, bro, you going? It was like, yeah. Going now?
What I meant to say was I'm going to sleep.
Oh, man. Oh, I have no... Oh, man, I was like, yo, where's this guy? It's like, yo, I fell asleep. I was like, oh, come on, man. Yo.
What the real is back. I'm wide awake now. The real is back. This is what the game been missing, man. I'm telling you. It seems like now that everybody, found out Wilder's coming back, everything's falling into place. All of a sudden, Terrence Crawford wants a big fight. All of a sudden, Ryan Garcia's like, you know what? I only want to take fight because they all know the man that keeps the lights on in boxing is coming back. So they all better get their little spaces behind him if they want to compete with the big fella.
But y'all know what I was saying, especially after the last couple of weeks. I said, because of one particular person being a little bit uncooperative in some people's eyes, that would open the door for the Bronze Bomber to come back. And lo and behold, look at what we got now.
Oh, yeah. He's back. Not
So
only is he back, he's coming for undisputed. Just so you know, you might not know that that's the goal, but I'm telling you that's the goal. He's coming for undisputed. He's already the undisputed people's champ, but now he is going to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
oh my god. Go ahead.
Look, even you. It's like now that Wilder's back, it's like your hate energy is just like you're like Dragon Ball Z. You're powering up. It's like you feel it all the hate that you eat. It's like it's feeding you. It's like I can hate again. Like you're in rare form. You're in rare form. You're in rare hating form. You know, it's like Wilder is even coming back for the haters, man. Just so guys like you can have some content. It's been cold in these boxing streets for everybody lately, man. Ain't been no content. But now that the king is back, you're probably thinking of ways to hate. You laugh when I say he's going to be undisputed champion. Why? Why? Are you telling me that's not possible? We know it's possible. We know it's probable. But the hate in your heart, it's like you were dead, and now like your black heart is just beating like Jason Voorhees. It's like you're coming back to life. It's amazing.
So you're saying it's gonna be the resurrection of Darth Vader?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Oh man! Oh, shout out to Reddit. Man, it says, "Can heavyweight boxing be popular like the NFL or NBA or
Well,
maybe
nothing can be
baseball?
popular like the NFL.
Not like the NFL. NFL's making money hand over fist, buddy.
Yeah.
NBA is almost making money hand over fist, buddy. You see the network deals they got?
Yeah, they could beat baseball because baseball is regional.
Yeah, baseball is regional, man. You
Yeah,
know,
baseball's a regional sport.
man.
And we're not answering no Bridgeway questions, please.
But going on this thing with Deontay Wilder up against Robert Helenius, I wasn't really surprised that much about this being Wilder's opponent. Familiarity, with Robert Helenius, with someone like it's more of like a matchup type thing. I think that it would be more of uh, a more like he would be more prepared against the guys that I would say would be at the top of the division by facing someone with the height and reach of Robert Helenius, and Helenius does have some type of a punch too.
And he's quick.
So like in comparison to facing a guy like a Frank Sanchez, who's almost like another version of Luis Ortiz in a way.
Yeah.
So I think it was it'd be better off for it to be a Robert Helenius, particularly if it ends up in a Wilder knockout. It could be a particular spectacular version of a knockout that Deontay Wilder could score. In this.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to see it. I didn't want him to fight Helenius, to be honest with you, because Helenius did spar with him, help him get ready. I feel like maybe that's a fight that he shouldn't have because, Helenius he's part of the bomb squad. I hate to see someone that was part of the bomb squad get their asses handed to him, but you know, at least he's giving his brother Helenius a payday. I like that.
Like
That's good. He's giving him a payday.
Like,
But
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it breaks down to Robert Helenius getting a payday,
there's
and
easier ways to make money though. Jesus Christ.
yeah, but when you have someone like Deontay Wilder, and we kind of like talked about this in weeks past, that he of course is one of the highest paid fighters in the sport, and when the A side gets a big guarantee, that means the B side would get a good chunk too. So whether it's a 15 million or a 20 million or whatever Wilder would get for this particular fight, that means that Robert Helenius would give himself a good little chunk too for this fight.
Yep.
So that would be good for him.
Now let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
It took a while before Hellenius was, I guess, accepted as an opponent publicly, even though the fight hasn't been officially announced, whatever. But do we think that's because they were hoping Kornacki would beat Demirezin and maybe we'll get Wilder Kornacki in October?
I don't think it would be nah, because I don't think it would be that quick of a turnaround.
No, okay.
Yeah, because that's like end of July, and then turn around and be back in camp and being there in October. So it was like, nah, you know. Yeah, so I just felt like it was going to be Hellenius the whole way through. I don't think that that fight between Kalnaki and Demirezin had any impact on who Deontay Wilder was going to face next. But yeah, like going back on the thing with Wilder, hey, I mean, you say he's on the road to undisputed or whatever it is. We know that we're supposed to have a heavyweight fight coming up in under 2 weeks.
Are we sure?
Rematch between Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua.
That fight's happening?
Now, right? What did we say? What are we 10 days away and we don't have any US network that's picking it up? I don't think there was going to be one. I felt like, but I just think that whole thing was kind of like weird from the get-go, because one, if you're going to have a rematch and you know that you have one particular fighter that's been on a network or through one network the whole time, but for this particular fight, he's not on the network on one of the major markets that was going to be watching this fight. That was kind of strange. And then you follow it up by saying, okay, we're going to have this lucrative deal with this fighter from after that fight forward. So it's like, yeah, you could have this bout that's going to be in Saudi Arabia and so much is on the line, but to not have it like on the network that he's supposed to be signed to in the major markets is very, very strange.
Yeah, it is.
And to me, it kind of like makes it like I say it's like a 50-50 fight, but to me, there's like a good amount of interest in this fight from not just from a fight perspective, but from a business perspective, of course, because you got, of course, Deontay Wilder coming back, but the guy that was commanding the most money and getting the most profits off of the heavyweight division is Anthony Joshua. And if he, somehow loses his fight, his value goes down, fairly significantly.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age of social media, internet type of things, where you can't afford to have 3 losses as a heavyweight. Where back in the 90s and 2000s, you could have 3, 4, 5 losses as a heavyweight and still be a heavyweight champion of the world.
And I think his problem is that he's losing to people smaller than him.
Yeah. But I think that he's always had those issues. I think, I've kind of like said that. I said, hey, if it's anybody that's around 6'5", 6'6" or above, he'd be right there with him. But if it's anyone that's 6'4" or below, he'll have issues. He does not like punching down. And, the thing about it is like, well, if you know that you got to punch down and you're not, punching correctly, punching down or whatever it is, or trying to see where your opponent's going to be at, you're always going to have issues. And, with the thing with Alexander Usyk is he's, of course, one of the more decorated amateur fighters out there, gold medalist, undisputed in, the cruiserweight division, and very experienced. So in that first fight, you've seen what the experience, the difference in experience was. Just from the foot placement, you've seen what the difference in experience was. And so For me, if Anthony Joshua can't even get past that, then he's going to have real issues in the rematch, because it doesn't matter if you're going to try to come forward with brute strength or anything like that. You know that Usyk's going to be the faster fighter. You know that he's going to be the one with foot movement. You're going to have to work on cutting off the ring. You're going to have to work on asserting your size, and you're going to have to work on making your front foot be on the outside. Because if you can't, then you can't prevent him from getting away from your strong hand.
Yeah,
So
I'm genuinely interested to see how this fight is going to play out. Like, what exactly did Anthony Joshua learn from Robert Garcia? What did he learn from the last fight? What can he apply to this fight to make the outcome any different? And also, what did Usyk learn from the last fight? Because he had a chance to learn Anthony Joshua now. What did he learn from the last fight? And is Usyk coming to get Joshua out of there? Usyk looks demonstrably bigger than what he was before.
mhm.
So I wonder if he's coming there to get Joshua out of there.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to follow up and ask is, what is Alexander Usyk going to come in as, for this particular fight here in the rematch here against Anthony Joshua? I mean, is he going to be, significantly bigger? I know that people were talking about, he had to deal with, what was going on in the Ukraine and this and that and whatever. And, he's doing this and he's trying to, make sure that the people in the Ukraine are able to watch the fight and all of that, and putting up his own money. And that in the last fight, he came in at 221 pounds for the weigh-in. I'm thinking he might be coming up in this particular fight 230 or more.
Yeah, he looks 230 or more.
230 or more, So we're going to see how he comes in, how he looks while being at 230 pounds or more, and how that kind of like sorts itself out for this rematch. And, the result of this rematch is going to shape the heavyweight division going into 2023, 2024,
Yep.
So we'll see how that goes. But back on the thing here with Deontay Wilder, he, like I said, October, he'll be there at the Barclays Center. I know a number of people feel like they're gonna be going up to the Barclays. It doesn't take much for me to, either get on the bus or train or drive over to Brooklyn to make that fight. Do you feel like it will be not just a fight but an event? Like, because when I went to Tank Davis versus Rolly Romero, that was an event. When I went to Danny Garcia versus Jose Benavidez Jr., that was a fight. So what do you think about Wilder versus Solanius there?
I think it's going to be an event because it's the return. Listen, it is the return of the king, man. The most exciting heavyweight ever is coming back, and we know he don't get paid by the hour. Okay, he is coming in to make short work of this guy, and it's always exciting, man. I can't wait.
All right. So, what was it? So for this thing for October 15th, they say it's going to be Fox Sports pay-per-view. I know that on the Twitter sphere that a couple of people there within boxing are trying to pinpoint what could be part of the card. I've seen that one particular matchup that could be on there.
What?
Maybe could be for a vacant title in the 140-pound division. We still have to, wait on the update for Josh Taylor if he is going to be, vacating more of the belts. So one fight that could be possible is Jeremiah Ponce against Subriel Matias, who are the top 2 rated fighters in the IBF at 140. But I don't know. What was the the other fight that was potentially on there? What was it? Jared Hurd versus Jason Rosario.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd like that.
uh, well, I did have a conversation with Samson Lukowitz, the other day, and of course, Rosario is one of his fighters. He couldn't necessarily, give us an update on that at that particular time, as far as like Rosario is concerned. But yeah, I think her versus Rosario would be a very good matchup there for that particular card. And I think they were talking about Frank Sanchez maybe being part of that card, but the opponent they had in mind isn't the opponent that I had in mind. And the opponent that I had in mind was Johnny Rice. I'm like, Johnny Rice hasn't, had a fight, in a good little minute, after, going on this run.
Hmm.
So I'm like, how come Johnny Rice can't get in the mix?
Johnny
You know?
Rice. But who do you think they're gonna? I think he's not gonna face anybody of any significance.
Mm.
I don't think he should be on the card.
Frank Sanchez?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he stuck out the Barclays last time he was there on the Kornacki on the card.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was boring. I don't see that motherfucker again.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Maybe they'll come up with probably some more good matches there for the pay-per-view card. But I think that they're gonna continue with the little plan about having something with that'll headline a Fox PBC on Fox card and something that'll headline a PBC on FS1 card because they're doing it for the Ruiz Ortiz, and to a certain extent they did it for that thing for what was it? I think a couple of other cards that they had like earlier this year. So
Yeah,
we'll see how they do.
that's like the norm with Fox. They have like a decent main event for like national TV, just to entice people to buy the pay per view. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. But like other things I've seen here, it looks like news from a few hours ago that for the event on August 20th, headlined by Adrian Broner versus Omar Figueroa Jr. Outside of Fort Lauderdale, looks like they'll have one additional fight on there, and that's Brandon Lee versus Will Madera. And Brandon Lee is one of those undefeated fighters at 140 pounds. Of course, that's a very deep division. And I think what was it? He was supposed to be on some card. Oh, I think he was supposed to be on that Jake Paul card. Yeah, he was supposed to be on that Jake
Yeah,
Paul
so they rescheduled him.
Rockman card, whatever it was. And because that whole card got canceled, all of those fights that were part of that card pretty much got you know brushed away or whatever it is. But they said, hey, let's see if we can add Brandon Lee in there against Will Madera for the Showtime card headlined by Adrian Broner versus Omar Figueroa Jr. So you do have that. The other news I see here is the World Boxing Association says no to the appeal for Dimitri Bivol to bypass the Mando. So they have ordered Dimitri Bivol to face Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez next.
From what I understand, the first bid was today. So reading the WBA ruling that they put out on their Twitter, they saying that the first bid was supposed to be August 10th as originally intended. But I haven't heard any results of the first bid, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what would go on with that. Like how does that work? So and but it kind of like goes into the whole thing where they were trying to what Eddie Hearn was trying to plan. He was trying to get Dimitri Bivol to face Joshua Buatsi, and I'm like, nah. They said, WBE said, nope. Mm-mm. It said that it ratified the mandatory fight between the champ Dimitri Bivol and Gilberto Ramirez. So after receiving a request for a special permission to fight Joshua Buatsi from the champion, and after an extensive study of that, the WBA denied such permission. But it said, like you were talking about, have until today to reach an agreement, or the fight will go to purse bid. So if they ain't come to an agreement today, then it will go to purse bid. I guess I'll be scheduled later within the next 7 to 10 days. So
Yeah.
so that's how that's going to work out there, man. I was trying to see what else was on the news wire, man. Man, I heard they said the thing for former world champion David Lemieux, his dad,
Horrible.
got succumbed in shooting spree that happened in Montreal, man. I'm
Just
like,
random shit, man. Horrible.
yeah, random stuff, man. Or that like what we had over here on stateside with that car crash, bro. And that was some wild stuff, bro. Like, I don't know if you read the story, but the story is mad wild, yo.
Very sad. Very, very sad.
Yeah, man. So rest in power to the father of David Lemieux there. I was trying to see, what else is jumped off. I know they're on boxing scene. They're talking about this thing about Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade that people were talking about to Steven Espinosa. But what we do know about Demetrius Andrade that we kind of like, well, at least I learned over the weekend, is that he's in the middle of talks for the fight in the middleweight division, where he's the WBO champion and the mandatory challenger there. Oh man, in Kazakh style or whatever they want to call him. You know what I mean? And that they have until August 20th
Yeah.
to come up with the deal. And the thing with Nim Hanuli, of course, Nim Hanuli is represented by Top Rank, but what I saw there on the letter from the WBO, Demetrius Andrade is represented by our guy. Oh man, and when I saw that, I mean, I was kind of like shocked. I'm like, Dimitri Salita Promotions. Whoa, where did this come from? And Dimitri Salita didn't really say much about it. When we had our conversation, and of course, right now he's in the middle of the thing for the Detroit Brawl Boxing Series, but man, like, I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm thinking that most likely it will go to purse bid, but if it goes to purse bid, it's not like I don't think they're going to really bid that much for it, including Top Rank and ESPN. I don't think they're going to really. Are they going to pay a good amount of money to have Demetrius Andrade and Anim Hanuli on an ESPN telecast?
Now, let me ask you a question about Zerno and Bivol.
Okay.
Do you think the WBA made the right decision, or should they have let Bivol fight Boati?
I think that they made the right decision.
Yeah, me too. Like, come on, Bivol. He hasn't had a mandatory in like 5 years.
I know, right? That's number one. And the thing with Zerto is Zerto had that eliminator over a year ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, why? Yeah, they might as well just go ahead and have that, and it would be a better fight than having Dimitri Bivol against Joshua Buatsi anyway. So why not? Yeah, I think that would be something good there for that. What else is out there? I know that we have Teofimo Lopez fighting on Saturday, and that now there's been rumblings about him potentially fighting Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, right. Ryan
That's
Garcia came out and said it's not true. Ryan Garcia said he has instructed his team to make the Tank Davis fight. That's the only fight he wants.
ooh, that's interesting that he said that
Yeah,
because I've been of the belief that Oscar De La Hoya does not necessarily want that fight to happen next. Um, Particularly because of them getting that deal with the zone, the extension with the zone, that Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, and um, Jaime Munguia were the key components for them to get that renewal with the zone. So it's like they want to see if they could just have more and more fights involving those guys on the zone and not having them, on any of these other networks. So for him to say, "Hey, I want to have this fight with Tank Davis," we're gonna see how that's gonna work out.
I think it's gonna happen.
December.
Yeah, I'm looking at December 10th. I'm thinking it's gonna happen.
Okay. So with that being said, Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia, December. Um, Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius, October 15th.
hmm Spence versus
Just
Crawford, November 19th.
so you think that's still going to happen?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's a done deal. And I realized something. So I'm a frequent listener to the PBC podcast,
Yeah.
and for the first time, KB Kenneth Buhari actually addressed the rumors of Spence versus Crawford being done. He never usually talks about the news, the rumors. He
Right.
waits till a fight is officially announced before he talks about it. So the
Right.
fact that he's addressing the rumors lets me know it's a done deal, and now they're just building towards it.
Okay. So with that being said, Fox or Showtime?
Oh, it's gonna be Showtime.
Well, that means Steven Espinoza went through and he came through like
Yeah,
3 game winning 3-pointer game 7 NBA finals or something like that. But because man, like
people need to start respecting Steven Espinosa.
yeah, yeah, because when a couple weeks ago he had a conversation with Joseph Aaron of War Week Radio, and he was talking about, hey, Terrence Crawford talking about $22 million, and then he was talking about $15 million, and that he wouldn't budge from $15 million. Yeah, I'm like, man, come on, bro. You know what it takes. You know what it would take for y'all to get in the ring. Y'all know what the target purse is, but he also knows how things work over with Showtime or Heyman boxing or whatever they do over there. It ain't the same as what you've been doing all those years. Nah, we don't go like that. So
Exactly.
so it's like if you see this, you see how they doing it. Why don't you want to roll like how they doing it? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's a Bomac thing, but whatever. I won't get into that. I won't disparage my fellow plump brother.
Right, right, right. But while we continue to go on that conversation, I want to add in another guest here on the Midweek Report. It's someone that you love to hate or you hate to love, one way or another. That's right. It's the boxing academic in the building. What's going on?
What's going on, fellas? First,
Mhm.
first thing I want to say before Matt say anything and mess it up, I'm only on here because I know Matt missed me. That's the only reason why I'm on here.
Yeah, I think it's time for me to go.
Go ahead, Matt. You can say whatever you need to say now.
This has been a thank you for having me, Jr. I appreciate it. Um, I'll be back again.
You was done anyway, so if you leave, it doesn't hurt my feelings.
I want to hear some academic stuff, boxing academic. Say something smart.
Well, how about I say something that's questionable? What's
You
up with your
always
boy
good.
that don't seem like he want to fight Spence?
Who's my boy?
Well, that's a figure of speech. What's up with
Fight's
Bud?
done. Fight's done, bro. Fight's done. It's coming.
You think so, or you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
people just
Fight's
saying?
done. Fight's done.
Yeah, before you jumped on here, Mr. NVO mentioned one person that we both know that is within boxing circles, or particularly within PBC circles, and he has he's a co-host to a weekly podcast himself, and he doesn't really mention fights or anything like that as far as like a rumor. He only mentions something if it's actually going to happen. And MVO was saying for like the first time, like KB Kenneth Buhari actually mentioned Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
And me and KB have had conversations about it, since May, ever since after Spence Ugas. So they've been trying to work hard ever since then to try to make that fight happen. And so as far apart as it had been a couple months ago, or at least as recently as a couple weeks ago, but now it just seems like they said, hey, we got it done, we got it made. That's why you pretty much heard from Dan Rayfield or whatnot, that November 12th or November 19th. I say November 19th. I've pretty much been set on November 19th for a while. So once they make that announcement, I'm making that phone call. I'm booking that. I'm booking that hotel. It's a done deal.
Man, you should be trying to go to that fight as a credentialed reporter.
I should.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm looking at the live chat. Yo, this dude Allen, man. Oh, come on, he has to come in here with this stuff. Oh man. But yeah. Well, I mean, I'll see. I mean, like I said, I've been able to, get in a few of these, events and whatnot, and the longer I've been in, the bigger events I've been able to get into. So
It's gonna be in Las Vegas.
yeah, Las Vegas. Yeah. And so if I'm able to get into this which should kind of be the biggest event that I'll be able to cover in the sport of boxing. Ever since I've started. So
Let me ask y'all a question.
yeah.
So the fact that they got to pay them money, a lot of money, do you think it's gonna be like Canelo Alvarez and then like a poor undercard? Because they got to give most of the money to them.
PBC got too many fighters to have a poor undercard. Now, will it be an expensive undercard with maybe their guys that's not household names? That's possible. But with their talent and their matchmaking, there's no way the undercard's going to be bad.
Right.
But you saying in competitive wise, it's at least gonna be competitive and action packed.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I understand. I agree.
And I think, well, the thing about it is the way that like most of these events work is that for the main event, the purse for the main event is usually put up front, and for the undercard, usually the undercard's purses are paid off by the gate receipts. Some in most cases, but here I think regardless of who they put up there, this is definitely gonna be like I don't care like what the ticket price is gonna be. It could be at MGM Grand Garden Arena, which I feel like it's going to be an MGM Grand Garden Arena, or I don't think it's going to be in Mandalay Bay. That venue is too small for that. So I'd say MGM Grand Garden Arena for that fight, and it's going to be on and popping, man. And once they make that announcement, I can't wait. They better not have a press conference for it somewhere, because if they do, I'm gonna try to find a way to make it. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna come in there with the NWO thing. I'm gonna do it.
Well, at least this will be a pay-per-view that'll be worth the $75.
$100, you mean?
It's gonna be 100.
I believe so.
I believe so. It's gonna be
when they start raising it to 100. When they start raising it to 100.
They haven't, but I think this is gonna be 100.
No, I think it's gonna be 85.
This is like the Black Super Bowl.
I think it's gonna be around 85. It's probably gonna be the same as that Canelo, and the other guy, that Allen's talking about. It's gonna be around that same price, But as far as like other fights that could be on there, I don't know, man. Hey, don't be surprised if you might see a fairly notable world champion included in that card. Whether it's something, whether it's going to be part of that pay-per-view or it's going to be on Showtime. But you might see a world champion on that undercard
for a separate telecast.
It could be for a separate telecast, yes, but it could be a world champion. I know that some people are saying, "Oh, maybe we could see Jerome Bucinich versus Iamana Stanionis." Nah. That ain't quite gonna happen. But I think that we're gonna see like either a world champion in anywhere south of featherweight, or we'll see a champion in the I can't even say that, because if I say the division, it's pretty much gonna give it away, as they only have one champion in this division anyway. So yeah, I'd say someone that's below featherweight, and I'll say someone that's above. I can't even say it. All right, above lightweight. I'll just put it that way, because if I say the actual division it's a pure giveaway anyway. So you're gonna see at least one world champion be part of that card there for November. So
I wouldn't mind seeing Tony Harrison fight somebody that's decent.
Can't wait. Maybe he'll fight Fedora.
Nah, I don't want to do my boy like that.
Nope, because Fedora will have somebody else on the card. I don't think like Samson Lukowitz pretty much didn't quite say like he would be on the card there in October that they're going to have in Carson, California, because it's going to be Sebastian Fedora and also Gabriela Fedora is going to be part of that card in Carson, California, on October 8th. I think it's October 8th is what they were saying. So I don't think it's going to be against Tony Harrison.
Y'all think they would do Tony Harrison like that, as loyal as that he has been? Like, even though he ain't the best, he's still up there, and he like,
right.
He funny, you know what I'm saying? Like I think he good for PBC. He gonna give you a fight, like even if he lose.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I still think you should have that third fight with Mel Charlo. I think we still need that fight. But
you think he can get up again for that fight? Because he gave it his all. He gave a lot in that second fight.
Yeah, but
and the first fight.
The way they have it scheduled for Mel Charlo to face Tim Tszyu, and it won't be until January 2023. Man, I don't know when that particular third fight could happen anyway. So I mean, this is what it is. I guess the ship is sailed for that potential bout, man. But is there anything else that people want to jump on here through the news wire before I like end up this midweek report?
No, I think you covered everything. I'm just happy I got to hear from the boxing academic. Hopefully, he sees that you tagged him on Twitter and he's more active on Twitter. Get that
I
Twitter
gotta
going.
relog into my account because
You got like 32 followers, man. That's pathetic, man. Let's get going. What are you waiting on?
I thought I had more than 32.
No, you got like 32 followers.
Matt, you got 35. So what you talking about?
Oh no, come on, man.
You know, you got kicked off of Twitter too, the same way you got kicked off of
No,
Facebook.
I'll never get kicked off of Twitter because I'm very respectful.
Oh yeah, because people can actually talk and hear your voice and stuff.
Yeah, you know, I'm a nice guy. You know,
I know you be trying to flodge and fake on live air.
I'm just passionate about the sport. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, well, he's passionate about the sport until anyone brings up women's boxing. Then everything goes out the window. Okay. Especially with that tweet about the boxing card on September 10th. Oh man.
What about a card on September 10th? What's happening there?
That is the one where you're gonna have Clarissa Shields against Savannah Marshall, and you're gonna have Alicia Baumgartner against Michaela Mayer. But with the undercard having a group of fighters there on the undercard, it incited a reaction from Mr. MVO, and
I want to hear it.
No, you're gonna have to go on Twitter
and see it.
Mm-hmm. That's
right.
Okay. All right. So, with that being said, that concludes the midweek report. Reminder that on the YouTube channel, we currently, of course, have the latest podcast on there, which includes the interview with Samson Lukowicz, and later on, you're gonna have interviews from Dwight Flemings Jr. and also Willie Monroe Jr. that will be posted on the YouTube channel. So be sure to look out for that. And I thank MVO and the Boxing Academy for joining us here for the midweek report. And I will check y'all out later on, I guess, for the next episode of the Boxing Source Radio Show. All right. Till then, peace out, y'all.